Good morning from Paris, France, location of the 2024 Summer Olympics. This is Jeff with Beyond the Rings coming to you with yet another report. I've lost track of the number. I'm thinking 11. I'll double check before I post this, and the title will be right, even if the video isn't. The days tend to run into each other, and that's a good thing because we are busy and making the most of every one of them. And so myself, Brandon Long, Destiny Killian are here for another day. It's Monday, the final week of the Summer Games. USA is ahead in the total medal count and just back by one in the gold. And we're coming into a strong area for us with athletics. And so it promises to be a good week on the Olympic front. And we're here because as Christ followers, we believe that Olympic ministry outreach is one of the best ways to reach the world. I will say the Olympic penetrating evangelism is like Acts 1:8 all in one place because we encounter people from our own neighborhood, as I did a couple nights ago, literally, to people from far and wide that we could never, in any normal run of the mill day in our lives, would have a chance to engage in gospel conversations. But not even only that, because of the open atmosphere, because of the friendliness, and I'll be honest with you, because of the boldness, because of this unique season, it's just much less fearful and intimidating to transition to gospel conversations. And I say that because we should live our lives like that every day, but we don't. I'm a pastor on staff at a wonderful church, and I don't, eagerly transition to gospel conversations every single day like I do when I'm here. It's just different. But it's no excuse. One of my passions, and one of the reasons why I believe God has given me a passion for this ministry, is because it acts as a renewal, a refreshing for me in my evangelism, uh, eagerness, and desire when I'm at home, living my ordinary day-to-day life. Because every day really is a gift. I truly believe that. And as a Christ follower, I want to be obedient and make the most of every day in growing in who I am as a Christ follower, as a child of God, as a disciple of Jesus, but then also advocating for and sharing the hope and the healing that comes only through faith in Jesus Christ. So thank you for being along on the journey. Thank you for tuning in for these updates. Yesterday, we went to the Louvre, and for a couple of reasons. It was a Sunday afternoon. We thought there'd be a large crowd there. And there was an Olympic event coming through there. The women's cycling event was going to be passing through there. So that was our goal, to make our way over there and to share as much as we could. And out of the gate, we were sharing in the subway, on the subway cars, in the hallways, in the tunnels in the subway, having all kinds of incredible gospel conversations. As we got to the museum, underneath there's a mall, and I stopped to look at a souvenir store and got to share the message of Jesus, the gospel, with Ruth, who was working there. We made our way up top at the Louvre and kind of got a lay of the land of how the cycling race was going to come through, and kind of found our ideal spot, and shared with many people. I shared with Annika from the Netherlands, had a wonderful conversation with her and shared the gospel with her, and very receptive and open. But it did not go to a conversion. It didn't. But there was a wonderful seed planted. And so pray for Annika and that seed that was planted. We discovered we were quite a bit earlier than we needed to be. And so we headed back inside because it was about 2 o'clock. That's about the time we eat lunch. And on our way in, ran across a wonderful older gentleman, just happened to have a simple hat on that had an American flag on it, said America. Stopped to talk to him and kind of caught me off guard because he had a European accent. Come to find out, he was Polish. And in that brief encounter, got to enjoy a wonderful visit and get to know Joe, who is a proud father of a U.S. Team USA um, Olympian. His son, Paul Judah, was part of the Team USA men's gymnastics team that had taken bronze. And he just happened to be in the Swatch store to where we were standing outside of, where his dad was waiting for him. So we had a wonderful visit with Joe and heard his heart for the Lord and his desire for his son to know the Lord. And so we shared with him what we were doing, and he was just so excited. He said, "You have to give one to Paul." And so we waited, and Paul came out. Wonderful, very polite young man, but he was kind of in a hurry. He had his mom on the other side of the mall and was eager to get back to her, but stopped, let me congratulate him, introduced ourselves to him, gave him the pen, and explained to him just briefly the message of the gospel and our card attached to it that had all the information. And then he was gracious to let us have a picture with him. That engagement was fun and exciting on so many different levels. But the dad was just almost in tears, so grateful. But we talk often about these encounters that we have and giving them the pen, trying to verbalize the gospel, but not always having the opportunity to do that. And Lisa asked again on Facebook a great question about excuse me, about what we leave with them. And so I wanted to show you just briefly what these look like. I can't remember what year, but many Olympics ago, I started making just on my own business cards that had my name and my email address. I've since added my cell phone number because that's a pretty universal way of connecting with people, and as a way to connect with people beyond that moment of engagement. And not only did we create a card for Beyond the Rings, same thing. It's got my name, my email address, and my Instagram. On the back, we include the QR code and the question, "What's beyond the rings?" Because that's the question we're trying to get people to consider, that there's more going on at the Olympics beyond the Olympics. And then if they can't scan the QR code beyond it, below it is our website, beyondtherings.world. If you go to beyondtherings.world, you'll see a video that I recorded in front of the Olympic rings in Salt Lake, in St. Louis, out at the field where the 1904, many of the 1904 athletic events took place. But as neat and as important as all that is, the most important thing is on the inside. We have a complete retelling with scripture references of the gospel message that we have shared with them verbally, if we had a chance to share with them. And then important questions. Basically, we talk about three circles help us understand what's beyond the rings. The first circle, bronze, reminds us of brokenness. Everywhere we look in the world is broken. It's not perfect. There are problems. We don't treat each other well, kindly, to being envious, greedy, to war, famine, disease, and even death. The world is not good. It's broken. And we try. We try to make progress. We try to make good decisions, but we continue to fail because we're fallen, broken individuals living in a fallen, broken world. But the second circle, the gold circle, reminds us that wasn't God's perfect design. When God created everything, in fact, he looked around after he created everything and said, "It is very good." So, how did we get from God creating everything and it being very good to brokenness? Sin. Uh, we rejected God, his holiness, his perfection, his righteousness, his worthiness, and decided to do it on our own. And we have been suffering from that ever since. And so we try to overcome that separation that has been brought about by our sin and the resulting brokenness. We try fame, fortune, possession, relationships. We try dangerous, difficult things, drugs, sexual activity. We try everything under the sun, but all those things do is bungee cord us back into brokenness. It doesn't do anything to take us close to God. So rather than leaving us in brokenness, though, the last ring, the silver ring, tells us that while we were in sin, Jesus left heaven, entered our broken world, so that through faith in Him and trusting in Him and turning and following Him, we can have forgiveness, hope, healing, and most importantly, a restored relationship with our Heavenly Father. And so we follow that up. We try to follow that up with um, we believe everybody in the world is in one of two places: brokenness or God's perfect design. Where are you? And that's simply and we just try to be quiet, let them and pray for a moment, and to hear their response. Sometimes they're not interested, they don't want to go any further. It's the end of it. Sometimes it leads to more questions and a great dialogue and discussion, but still no conversion. But it is a seed that has been planted, and God is using it to do a great work in that person's heart in that moment. And through this resource and the pen for days, weeks, months, possibly years to come. That's our hope and prayer. That's why we're here. Now, good question is, well, that's wonderful, but what if they speak in French? Ta-da! We have a French version. This has been such an incredible key because many of the French know pretty good English. Some don't know any at all. And so even if we can't have a verbal communication with them, even if we can't share the gospel verbally with them, we can leave them the gift of the pen, which is a special thing. I mean, this is a nice pen from the Olympics in Paris. And we gift it to them. We give it to them attached to one of these cards. And we explain to them, this card explains this pen and tells you why I'm here. And so sometimes we're able to, like, if I'm on the train and we're having a good conversation and we got to get off real quick, we can use one of these cards. And the French card is exactly like the English one. QR code on the back, website, email address. My name and email is not on the French ones. But Brandon and Destiny, before we left St. Louis, printed out a ton of labels of names and email addresses for us to stick on those. And we've already gone through all those. And so those are the tools we're using. And as we enter the final week of the Olympics, we still have many days to go. And so it's a new week. There are new opportunities in front of us. And so we just ask for your continued prayers to make the most of every day, of everywhere we go, as we're going, to be alert and aware. I had the great privilege of doing the pre-service live yesterday at Concord Church in St. Louis, my wonderful church home where I have the privilege of serving on staff as one of the pastors. And Pastor Rusty asked a great question, how can we be praying for you? Primary prayer is for open hearts and open minds of those we encounter. We're having many great gospel conversations every day, and we're so grateful for those. Pray for those seeds planted. And then our prayer has been, our overriding continuous prayer is, Lord, please give us more. Give us more. One final thing I would share with you that's date sensitive is today is Monday, August 5th. And from 12, I think I'm scheduled for about 12:20, 12:30 this afternoon to be on the big 550 AM there in St. Louis, doing a radio interview again with John Carney and Julie Buck. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be their man in Paris. And yet they ask very, very good questions that aren't just about the Olympics, but about my mission being here. They know I'm a pastor. They know I'm on here on mission to share the message of Jesus. It's not a Christian radio show. And yet they've been very gracious. So I'm very grateful for their willingness to make most of me being here, and I love the opportunity to have another opportunity to share live with my St. Louis community about the Olympics and about Jesus. So pray for that opportunity. If you get a chance, tune in and listen. And thank you again for your prayers, being a part of the support team, sharing these stories. We feel it. It makes a huge difference. God is at work. So just remember, every commercial, every medal update, every whatever the gripe of the day is, um, pray that we will make the most of Jesus while we're here during the Olympics. Not just Beyond the Rings, but all the other ministries that are here as well. Because remember, we're here to remind those gathered at the Olympics there's much more going on beyond the rings. God bless y'all. Till we talk again next time.